Alright guys, so Nine Vicious has dissed yet another rapper for almost no reason to gain attention, and this time it's Che, or at least fans thought it was. And to make the whole thing even more entertaining, he made it over their ex, who also happens to be a pop and underground rapper right now, K3. So I'm gonna explain the quote-unquote diss and go over the fan reactions, as well as some context on the whole thing. But anyways, you guys get the point. So this all started when Nine Vicious took this story and said, yeah, SMD, I don't care who dropping, play my stuff, I've been these guys hoes, F you talking about. So it was a screenshot of his like Summer Smash set, and then in that same tweet, they posted a picture of Nine Vicious and K3 like in bed together. It was like a Discord event or something, I don't know, like they're on stage for some reason. So the moment this happened, everyone assumed that Nine Vicious was talking about K3 because K3 has dated Slum Sixes, she dated Che, and she also dated Nine Vicious. So everyone assumed that Nine Vicious was talking about Che and K3. Alright, Che was dog shit, what the hell, back in the day, and then they posted a picture of like Tana and Che and K3. We do not care what Nine Victims has to say. That's how I feel, but a lot of y'all still gonna push him on here no matter how corny and weird he is. Nine owns him, clout chasing. Dude, Che, Nine Vicious, and Youngboy, she's on a run. Don't forget Slum Sixes. And then Pretty Fun being the boy best friend. Yo. Ain't Che 18 and she 22? How is that? And he 22? How's that a flex? Like, you can say whatever you want, be gay, all that, whatever. Dissing my goat is crossing the line. What a loser. Che wipes this guy anyway. Why is he trying to diss? Best underground artist right now versus P Word. I really couldn't care less about this. Reach of a century. Nine Vicious yet again disses someone who makes better music than them for attention. Okay, so people definitely weren't rocking with Nine Vicious for doing this, or allegedly doing this, just seemingly, whatever. And it turns out he wasn't actually dissing Che at all. And we found that out because K3, the girl everyone was thinking or thought Nine Vicious was like mentioning in that story, but got on Twitter. Someone said, no, it isn't. Keep up with the underground bop lore. It's her partner who doesn't want her to drop music. Y'all literally say anything. Please wipe my pussy juice off your bottom lip. I'm signed to a label, LMAO. How do you make me not able to drop music? How do you make me not being able to drop music correlate to a guy you think I date? Starting to think you guys don't get pussy as much as you talk about what I do with mine. She said, I'm just a girl. Literally, let me not engage in underground bullshit. I'm literally on tour with Youngboy. Mind you, the guy not talking about me or Che. His new girl don't look familiar to y'all. Y'all don't notice Rich Amiri started his rollout? Oh, okay. All right. So I don't know if you guys know this, but Nine Vicious dropped a Rich Amiri diss. He dropped a song called Long Live Pope, which talking about Lil Keed, by the way. And in that song, he said, these guys suck. They suck like Rich Amiri. Hold up. Now, there's also a brand Nine Vicious has. It's called For Nothing. He's like name dropped and spoken about it in like a lot of his songs. And guess who he got to model for the brand? Rich Amiri's ex-girlfriend. Here's like a picture of them. They just used to date, I guess. That's all you need to know. And it looks like Nine Vicious is dating her now as, I guess, a way to get back at Rich Amiri. Now, I'm not sure why they hate each other or dislike each other. I feel like Rich Amiri is kind of like this hated figure in the underground just for his music, but I don't know. He's not really, recently he hasn't really been beefing with people like that. Seems like it's just Nine Vicious. It also seems like Rich Amiri hasn't engaged in this beef at all. And you know, not engaging in a beef can kind of make you the winner by default, but in this case, it looks like Nine Vicious took his girls, so he definitely seems like he's the one winning here, and there's nothing Rich Amiri can really do about that, you know? It also seems like, because I just looked this up on Reddit right now, according to fans, the girl cheated on Rich Amiri, but I'm not really gonna get into their business. It's almost like some personal stuff. I'll share a picture. She says, hi everyone, today me and my now ex-boyfriend decided to end things, wish him the best, blah, 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 blah. And somebody said, I just saw a story on Amiri Chase. She definitely cheated on him. I don't know what the story is, but whatever it is, right? So it looks like Nine Vicious is hitting Rich Amiri where it hurts. Rich Amiri's ex Lola Star modeling for Nine Vicious' brand. So yeah, I don't really know like what else that means. The other thing about Nine Vicious dissing is, I guess he just likes to diss a lot. But the thing about the way he does it is different though, because to me, when I think of someone who constantly looks for beef, I think of Jace. But Jace would do this thing where he would get into pointless beefs, be super over the top, and it kind of just like ruined his reputation. And I think because he took it to such an extreme, it hurt him. What Nine Vicious does is he like lightly disses, sneak disses, you know what I mean? He doesn't like fully engage. And then if somebody does like speak on or come back, he'll say there isn't beef or not. Makes sense? For example, what he did with Dior vs. You. Or he also has beef with like Tana, I think. He has beef with Zucchini. Like, he got beef with everyone, but he doesn't really have beef. Doesn't make sense. He just likes to cause problems for attention. He goes up on Twitter a little bit and then he just keeps it pushing. However, this beef looks a little different. I also noticed that not very many people really like reported on this. Slat I'm With You was really the only person who like posted it. I also just feel like controversy can be a good thing if it gives you just enough attention and the actual controversy isn't anything that's actually bad. Like, you know, sometimes it's just good to have a little attention. But I feel like whenever Nine Vicious gets into like a little bit of controversy, everyone just mentions him, like the whole grooming situation and being a P word, and it just spreads even more, you know? And it's almost like the way people perceive you, like two different rappers can do the same thing, but the way fans perceive them will like completely change their reception, if that makes sense. Like, for example, if Osama-san dissed Che, or I don't know, just anyone else dissed Che, or not Che, or like Rich Amiri, it would be taken a bit more seriously. But because it's Nine Vicious, nobody really cares. They make fun of him and call him Nine Victims, and that's really that. Because I feel like the majority of people, even some of these fans who still like his music, just view him as weird now. So he's not really doing himself any favors by acting like this, because he's just pushing them more into that territory, you know? Like, Nine Vicious even had beef with Dom Corleone. Like, yo, why are you beefing with Dom Corleone? That's like the most pointless beef of all time. And then he I think he blocked Dom Corleone. It was just like weird, you know what I mean? I also kind of wanted to bring this other thing up. I feel like Nine Vicious knew what he was doing when he said this. Like, he obviously knew fans think that, or know he dated K3. You know what I mean? Because it's been over Twitter. K3 has started to gain like all this controversy, you know? So when he said, I've been with the same girls, I feel like everyone would have assumed it was K3, especially if she didn't like clear things up. The other thing rappers love to do in beefs is they love to like say something, make it hard to interpret for fans on purpose, and just not explain themselves. Like, I think like Lucky and V's were beefing, and they were like tweeting at each other for a little bit, and they were just purposely making it harder for fans to understand, which I kind of understand. It's smart, you know, it makes like fans more engaged and whatnot, and sometimes it's just annoying and funny, you know what I mean? Like, he could have easily been more direct. I also feel like doing this, what Nine Vicious is doing to Rich Amiri, I don't know if it's gonna help him as much just because it's Rich Amiri. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think Rich Amiri has the most like engaged fan base, especially on like Twitter or just in general. Like, he has fans, but not really in this scene. So even though Rich Amiri is a much larger artist, Nine Vicious is like a P word groomer or whatever. Like, Nine Vicious is technically winning, and not even because he took his girl. He just is. You know what I mean? It also would be funny if like Rich Amiri dropped his album and there were like 9 vicious disses. You know what I mean? I don't know. I just feel like they're almost in different worlds. And then you could also, I don't know, there are like more layers to this. I believe like Rich Amiri is like producing now. I think he produced the song for Dior vs. You, and then Dior vs. You and Nine Vicious are like, they're far more adjacent than Rich Amiri and Nine Vicious. They're supposed to be cool, or they're not cool, or whatever, you know. I'm sure some of you guys have watched my video on that whole situation. Just the whole thing is really weird and complex, and it's also just not that serious. You know what I mean? But anyways, thanks for watching. Let me know what you think. I just think it's kind of random, but yeah, peace.